How about our families? This week on Community Chat, Hagen Nares PLC, truck wreck and brain injury lawyers, is speaking with Kristina Bergsten, owner of the Animal Law Firm. Kristina is an expert in animal law and handles issues involving dog bite defense, service animals, rescue, sanctuaries, shelters, trainers, groomers, sitters, and equine law. There's a lot more that has to do with animal law, and she's here to explain more. Kristina is here to tell us all about her journey in starting the animal law firm, what it's like to be a client of hers, and a trading tidbit for the community. We welcome Kristina. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you have a really interesting journey. I venture to say you didn't go to law school thinking you were going to do animal law. It kind of came about, and you really have, over the course of about 10 years, become an expert in this. And so I really wanted to ask you if you could just share your journey into opening the animal law firm.
Sure. Yeah, great question. So I started the animal law firm a little bit out of accident, a little bit out of long-term hoping, mostly. So, I mean, I'm vegan now. I've been vegetarian for a very long period of my life. I won't say how long because it would date me. But so I've always loved animals. But I mean, really, like me starting my animal law firm practice was kind of by accident. I was working for a family law firm, and they said, if there's anything else you'd like to do, we can add it to the website. So I suggested animal law, and before you knew it, we were getting calls, and then ended up. So I started practicing in Pennsylvania and ended up moving to Colorado, where I opened my own law firm there, and I still have a practice in Colorado, but now I'm also in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, representing pets and their people in all four states. Currently hoping to add Texas this year. We'll see.
And I love that. And I kind of came about of finding out what you do because a lot of people know that I do um, dog bites typically, and I represent people that have been injured, but the dog owners very much need really good representation and advocacy sometimes in those cases. And so I naturally came across your law firm and have recommended you several times over. And so that is just one part of what I know you do, but you do so many other things inclusive in animal law. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit. What is it like to be a client of yours? What type of clients do you typically represent? And kind of what's the process of the journey of an animal rights case?
Sure, great question. I guess to say in general, to be a client of the animal law firm, what you're looking at is you're looking at getting very personal with me and my staff very quickly. And you're looking at kind of trusting us with, I mean, really, you're looking at trusting us with your fur baby. It depends on what your situation is. I mean, a lot of people come to us because their dog has been seized by animal control and they're facing criminal charges and the potential euthanasia. So we're going to have to work very quickly to prevent that from happening. So a lot of times in those cases, my clients, like I said, have to get to know us very quickly. More usually it's more about you opening up to us very quickly, so we can get as much information as we can as quickly as we can to present that to the prosecution and the judge and to make the best argument we can for your dog to be released. Other cases, it just kind of depends. Service animal cases, then we're looking at getting to know you very intimately over a longer period of time because those cases tend to take a little bit longer, but you're looking at sharing your personal medical history, your personal therapy and counseling notes. A lot of people don't understand that if you make an emotional distress claim in any area of law, you're looking at sharing those medical details, those personal details that you never thought you'd have to share with anyone. And so it can be a little shocking because I think a lot of times my clients are people who have never encountered the law before.
Mhm.
Occasionally I'll get someone who's been through a divorce 5 or 10 years ago or something like that, so they have some familiarity, but most of my clients aren't familiar with the legal process at all. We do our best to explain everything at the very beginning. And then of course, you explain it one time and that doesn't necessarily mean that that person's going to remember for it forever. But so we do our best to try to explain as things progress. But we try to give everybody an overview right from the beginning. We'd like to be very upfront and honest about our costs because when we do animal law, because animals are considered property under the law, there's not much room for us to work off of contingency fee. Like some personal injury attorneys, for example, will work off contingency fee in some instances. So because there's not large damages for us to take a contingency fee off of, we have to work hourly. And so we'd like to be very upfront and honest with people about how much our services can cost if we go all the way to a jury verdict. So we pride ourselves on being honest, almost sometimes to a fault. I would rather you call and talk to me and me tell you, yeah, you don't really need to hire me, or actually there's another way to go about doing this, or, try this first and then call me back. Because I'd rather a lot of people who come to us, especially like our veterinary malpractice clients, they've already been lied and taken advantage of by an unscrupulous vet. So we don't want them to feel like they're, seeking help from another professional and being taken advantage of again. So, we do our best to kind of walk our clients through the process, because because we handle so many different kinds of cases, it can be really involved. It's a lot of hurry up and wait, unfortunately, in most of these cases, except for the dog bite cases where euthanasia is on the line. Then it's like, we have to do everything now.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of where I came about with your firm, is naturally because I do dog bite cases, but the personal injury aspect side, the people that call thinking that I will represent the dog owner, I get them to you as soon as possible because I know the urgency of that. So I think that's fantastic that you do that. And thank you so much for sharing what it's like to be a client of yours. I didn't even know that there was such thing as needing attorney potentially for service animals, and to get deemed that, and pet malpractice. That's fantastic to know that that's what you do. Before we leave, because I have you here, I would love for you to share a training tidbit for the community. It could be one tidbit or a couple, but something that you just think that would be really good for the community to know about, because you're seeing these questions or these issues arise over and over again in the cases that you represent. So it'd be so great for you to share anything that you can that we can know about.
Yeah, where should I start? For dog bites, I would say definitely always have your dog on a leash. That goes for little dogs too. Little dogs will always start a fight, but they tend not to finish it. So little dog owners, I'm really talking to you, because I find that a lot of my cases, I'm representing big dogs who got into fights with little dogs. It's because the little dog was not on a leash. So definitely always keep your dog on a leash. If you're going to a dog park or any sort of dog heavy area, I would also recommend keeping a water bottle that squirts, because if a dog fight does spring up, then you can squirt them in the face with the water bottle. And that's a safe way to kind of get enough seconds in there to pull them safely apart. But yeah, definitely do not stick your hand in a dog fight. It seems instinctual, and a lot of people do it and just really try hard not to. For service animals and emotional support animals, I always recommend, if you have a medical provider, your primary care physician, your therapist, your counselor, whoever you normally see for your mental health needs or your medical needs, ask that person first to write you a letter saying that you need a service animal or an emotional support animal for a landlord. If you go to these websites, there's nothing illegal about them, but there's also nothing legal about them. They're the greatest scam ever. I wish I had thought of it, because I would be retired on an island somewhere just printing off these certificates. So definitely the best option for emotional support animals and service animals is to go to your regular healthcare provider to get a letter certifying that you need one. Veterinary malpractice, keep records. Always keep diligent records, phone calls, anything. Make sure whenever you leave your vet's office, you're getting a copy of the record that day. Have it emailed to you. Who else? I don't know. I could go on.
I think that is all so great. I haven't even thought of veterinary malpractice, though I can't tell you how many times I think I've seen people very concerned about their pets and what has happened, dental surgery or just basic routine procedures. So that is so great to know. Even those basic things about keeping a dog on the leash, that is the number one thing that leads to what I represent people for, which is injuries caused by a dog bite. So all of that was fantastic. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions that other people have and would love to reach you. And again, You have offices obviously in Colorado, but also in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey as well. And so, what is the best way to contact you or get more educational information from you about these types of cases?
Yeah, I would just direct people to my website, which is theanimallawfirm.com. If you go to my website, it will populate a phone number that's local to where you're calling from. So if you're in New Jersey, it will populate a local number. Otherwise, you can always, call our Colorado office. That's listed on the website as well. But yeah, start there. We have a lot of blogs. We're on social media. We're always posting tips and tricks on the internet, so you can always find something there.
All right. Well, Kristina, we thank you so much for being on our podcast, and we will include all your information in the show notes. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.